now.
Okay.
And Darlene, I did just find the email you sent out. It was on February 21. And she said at the time, quick update, we are recosting this project since we have had some changes with contractor and materials. I should have that update this week. But that was 2 weeks ago at least. So
Okay, so I'll recontact her.
Okay, next item, Brian, Consolidated Communications proposal. Do you have any information?
I do not.
Okay.
I spoke with Sarah yesterday, reminded her that she had committed to the 3rd, and she has recommitted now to Friday, tomorrow. And she said by the end of the week. And
Consolidated was in Bar Harbor. Consolidated was in Bar Harbor. Fidium doing a bunch of stuff for the town of Bar Harbor and hooking up the high school and Emerson School today. So they're in the area.
yeah, that was CCI, not Fidium.
Right.
So when I spoke with Sarah yesterday, I asked her or told her that the town of Tremont and Bar Harbor were going to be approaching CCI for firm numbers, just like Mount Desert, so that she just may as well put those numbers together as well. And she agreed to do that. So we'll see what comes of that. But if she does, then the only thing that leaves for the island is Southwest Harbor is not included. So.
Darlene, have you had any luck approaching Southwest Harbor? Or any further thoughts on how we might appeal to them?
I have not had any follow-up with them, to tell you the truth, Kathy.
Yeah, this is
once
the
we
wrong time of
once
year.
we get those numbers, I think what might be smart, I could just send these over. So here's what we've got from the other 3 towns as a cost. Are you interested in getting costed out on this proposal and see what they say? That might be a good way to approach them.
Okay.
So next on the item is on the agenda, update from Tremont. I guess, is Elaine on today?
I do not
I haven't
see
seen
her.
Elaine, but I did look over the proposal that it's Brian did and looks quite thorough. So yeah. I haven't heard back whether they're having any direction. Elaine usually gives me a little heads up if she got any feelings on that one way or the other, but it's been pretty crazy with the schools lately. So, you know.
Brian, do you have any indication of when those numbers come in about what the percentage is that Consolidated is going to be looking at as far as sharing with them for fiber? Like 40%, 30, 70%, 30, 40, 60, anything like that?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm anticipating that, I mean, they're supposed to tell us what is the total project cost and how much of a subsidy are they looking for
Good. That's exactly right.
from the town. And then, of course, the town could go to Maine Connectivity Authority and seek a grant for small areas potentially. But I really think that you ought to be focused on not being able to get a grant.
Yeah. Because we've got pretty good connectivity compared to lots of areas.
Right.
So it never hurts to submit an application. I'm just saying that the odds of being awarded are pretty low. So you ought to be, you know, once we have the numbers back from CCI and from Spectrum, then you really ought to be looking at how can you fund it without grants from the state or the feds.
Brian, are those percentages liable to be the same for each town, or will that be varied by community?
It will be probably community specific.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So I'll get that information to Southwest Harbor once we get and say, here's what we're doing. Why don't you guys follow up if you're interested and see what.
Yeah, I mentioned it in passing when I was paying my excise tax bills to the town manager, but I think she was pretty preoccupied at the time, unfortunately. So.
Well, we could have a short meeting tonight. We're on to next steps.
The next steps might be to follow through on all those things we were hoping to report on today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
I
so we
will-
should have something back from Spectrum, hopefully from Consolidated Communications. Hopefully we'll have an update by then, or we'll have a chance to get an update next month from Tremont, see where they're at, so.
Yeah, I'll send an email to the Southwest Town Manager just to see if we can make a time to meet, maybe, yeah.
Any other business? I don't think we've ever had this short a meeting before.
Oh, no.
It's a
Yeah,
good way
not
to.
the best one, Genevieve. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
That's okay. Actually, could I ask a question real quick if there's not much
Yeah.
else to discuss? I'm just curious to learn a tiny bit more about where you're at in the steps of your broadband process. And it sounds like you're looking for like a region-wide approach. And if you could just touch a little bit more on that.
well, I'll start, and Kathy, you can jump in anytime, but obviously, I think all the islands, all the towns on MDI are in a different place.
Mhm.
Some, and then certain companies, certain towns also are more attractive than other towns to different providers, like Bar Harbor is going through, I think, with Fidium, right? Is that? Yeah. So, I mean, because of population density and such, that's attractive to them. We've gone through surveying to find out where our gaps are currently, for providing some sort of broadband coverage, and that's why we're waiting for some proposals like from Spectrum to see what it would cost to get 100%.
Okay, perfect.
Our goal is that we want to get fiber to each resident if we can. I mean, but we are going to start by just getting at least broadband, be it cable broadband to everyone, and then go from there, I think. Is that safe to say, Kathy?
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's our ultimate goal, is to have fiber to the premises, 100% coverage. But,
Awesome.
and so we engaged Brian as a consultant to us. Brian did a survey of the town and found that something like 96 to 97% of the town does have Spectrum coverage. And that's in large part because in the 2015, 16, 17, the town worked with Spectrum to get services out to a great bit of the town. And so now that that's done, there are a few hot spots here and there. So we've had that conversation then with Spectrum to fill those gaps. So that's what we were talking about, is Brian had identified like 95 different places. Spectrum told us we have 50 of those in the works already. So that leaves just 44 addresses that are unserved right now. And they have presented us a dollar figure, over $300,000, to connect those 44 addresses. And they would put in some share of that. So we want to see if those numbers are firm and make sure that it is for 100% coverage, not just 44. If there's any misinformation in that or a different address that comes up, we want to make sure that that's universal coverage. So,
And we refer to the town, we refer to the town of Mount Desert, which actually encompasses, what is it, 6 or 7 villages?
well, it depends on what you call a village, but
Yeah,
yes,
right.
at least 6.
So it's
Maryland
spread
would say-
throughout MDI, a considerable part of Mount Desert Island. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, it's specifically a township. township made up of 5 towns.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Awesome.
Genevieve, Kathy said we conducted a survey, and I don't want to construe that word. We didn't survey anybody. We created a study where we went out in the field to validate areas with cable TV infrastructure and areas without, as well as any other fiber that was out there. So if you read through that study, you should be able to come up to speed as to where they're at. We did a similar study for the town of Tremont. And we are finishing the study for Bar Harbor either tomorrow or this weekend. I got to get it done.
I didn't know that you were doing that as well. Good.
And so, and we helped Mount Desert years ago with the expansion by Spectrum. And we've been helping the town of Bar Harbor and Mount Desert get fiber installed for their internal communications.
Okay.
So there's multiple different things going on here that are, largely focused on just the island of Mount Desert. So the only area that we haven't done any work with is Southwest Harbor, the town
Okay.
of Southwest Harbor.
Awesome. Thank you for getting me up to speed.
yeah, and from infrastructure point of view, the fiber optic cables come from Ellsworth and come onto the island. And so then they go down to Bar Harbor on one way, and they go to Soamesville and then on to Southwest Harbor on the other. So it's kind of what is the physical infrastructure too.
Right.
Speaking as a resident of Southwest Harbor and having walked and ridden and been on pretty much every road in town, there's a pretty comprehensive spectrum coverage. I don't think there are maybe but 10 places that don't have it currently. So even some of the really long roads have been built out in the last couple of years. So yeah.
Anything else, Genevieve, from us that we can be of help to you?
No, I think that's a good starting place for now. Thank you.
Okay, so next meeting is scheduled for, let me see, April 13th. And so unless somebody has anything else, I think I'll see everybody on April 13th.
Maybe we'll have some daffodils or tulips by then. Maybe, I doubt it.
I will probably have another 10 inches of snow by then. Yeah.
Oh my word. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry, Pete, it was so short. All
That's all good.
right.
Everybody.
Bye.
All right. We done? We're done.